Welcome guys to our YouTube channel. So the platform that we are using to analyze is called TradingView. So if you want to use the platform, make sure that you click the link below and it will take you straight to TradingView. So make sure that you like, comment down which pair we should analyze next, and make sure that you subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so every time we drop, you'll be notified. So with that being said, make sure that you subscribe guys, because we always drop valuable content. So in today's video we have 3 currency pairs, which is the Sunday market breakdown. So let's start with the first pair. Okay, so the first pair that we have is AUDJPY. So I'm quickly gonna start from a higher time frame, going down to a smaller time frame. Share my watermark so you guys can follow and know which pair I'm analyzing. But you can also see the symbol label that the pair that I'm analyzing is also USD/JPY. So let me quickly include my watermark and we will begin. So as you know guys, the first pair that we have is AUDJPY with the daily time frame. So we're starting from a daily time frame going down to a smaller time frame. So if you're analyzing with me at the same time, make sure that you follow and listen attentively. So let's begin. Firstly, we are going to identify our high and our low. What type of pattern is presented? Is it a reversal or a continuation? Then we're going to start looking for positions. So I'm going to use my tool. The tool that I'm going to use is horizontal ray to identify my low and my high. So currently this is my low on the market and this is my high. So after identifying my low and my high, I'm going to focus on the current market. I'm not going to focus on what happened previously, but I'm going to focus on the current market. And another thing, the reason why we start from a daily time frame is because we want to predict the following day. So today, currently right now, it's Sunday, that's why we have the Sunday market breakdown. We analyze before the market actually opens. After identifying my high and my low, I'm going to identify levels where the market actually rejected before. So I can see that we rejected here at the double bottom. I can also see that we rejected here. So we've been creating lows and highs, right? I can also identify this high, and I can also identify this high. So notice one thing: the market broke the highs that we had. So currently we have a new high. So right now I can tell you that this high has not been broken. So I can also see that we had an aggressive impulse to the upside. So with that being said, let's switch the time frame. Let's go to 4 hour. Okay, after coming down to the 4 hour time frame, what else am I seeing? I can see that we had an aggressive impulse to the upside, but something interesting happened. Instead of having a correction, we had a reversal pattern. How do I know? Because we actually rejected on our reversal area. So a rising wedge, normally it's a reversal pattern, and you normally sell at the resistance significantly. So let's continue. So on the 4 hour, I'm going to identify my low. So on the 4 hour, I can see a double bottom here, which is a low. and I can also use my what? I can also use my rectangle. If you want to use a rectangle, you can also use it. So I'm going to clone it, and I'll do the same thing for my resistance. So one thing that I know is that on my 4-hour, this is my resistance and this is my daily. This is my resistance and this is my daily resistance, also known as my 4-hour resistance. So let's identify the reversal pattern that we saw. So the reversal pattern that we saw was a what? Was a reversal pattern, which was a what? A rising wedge. So a rising wedge is a reversal, guys, if you don't know it. So I'm going to clone my resistance trend line to identify I'm going to clone my support trend line to identify my resistance trend, right? After that, I'm just going to adjust my trend lines to cater for all touches. So one thing that I noticed that we had a reversal pattern, right, which was a rising wedge, but also we had a double top, which is also reversal. So this was acting like a pattern within a pattern, right? So let's focus on the current trend, what's happening currently. I can also see that because we rejected here, we actually created the what? We actually created the resistance here. So I'm going to cater for that resistance. So because we had a double top, we had an aggressive impulse to the downside, right? Which was our first impulse. Market gave us a correction. This could be a continuation to the downside. If not, we could reverse on our support and create a double bottom. So with that being said, we are going to trade what we see, not what we think. So let's change the time frame and let's go down to the 1 hour time frame. So with that being said, I'm also seeing something very interesting. Even though we rejected here, but we created a double top. But this double top was a reversal pattern. So for this double top, I'm going to identify my resistance. So I can stretch it all the way to the left hand side to cater for the past touches. And again, on this double top, I can see that we had an impulse, a corrective structure to retest our resistance. That's why we had a double top. So this was actually a 90%. This was the 90% for the double top. This was the 90% for the double top. So notice one thing. When we broke out of the double top, we broke impulsive. So one thing that we could wait for is a retest and a continuation. If not a retest, we could wait for we could wait for something like this, which is a reversal pattern, continuation to the downside. But that is just a probability and a possibility that could happen. So with that being said, let's identify another low, which is our take profit level. So after identifying our take profit level to the downside, we can see that currently right now we have a low, right? Market made an impulse, had a correction and an impulse, but we reversed. Why did we reverse? Because we saw a reversal pattern. This is a double top, guys. So I'm going to use my rectangle just to cater for those touches. So this was acting as a double top, but this double top was a significant one. How that double top was formed is actually interesting, right? So this was our first impulse. Market gave us a correction, right, to the downside. Had another impulse. So one thing that I know is that after an impulse, we should be seeing a correction. But this correction is either a reversal or a continuation to the downside. So that is my anticipation on AUDJPY. So let's try to look for an entry if we can find one. Let's switch the time frame to 15 minutes. So normally I look for my entries on the smaller time frame, but I do have a picture and idea of the larger time frame. So for AUDJPY on the 15 minutes, I'll be looking for a pullback. Why do I say that? Because this is what we call a what? Descending channel. So because this is a descending channel, it could reverse to the upside to give us a what? That retest. Also the 90% to push to the downside. Or another thing that you could wait for, you could wait for this correction to mature enough. So what else am I seeing here? I can also identify this level whereby the market broke this level, right? So one thing that we can also see here, we could see a beautiful flat flag. We could see a beautiful flat flag, whereby we could execute the entry when the market opens. You could measure the stop loss. If you're risking 1%, it's cool. Then hit your first target. After breaking your first target, which means after breaking this low, then you could look forward to taking profits on your second target. So this could be your first target and this could be your second target. So with that being said, you could patiently wait. Hear me out, guys. You could patiently wait for this correction to mature and execute to the downside. But for AUDJPY, I'll be looking for more selling opportunities to the downside. Because notice one thing, AUDJPY, these pairs, they actually move during the Tokyo sessions, right? So one thing that you can take or learn from this pair is that repetition will always be key. This pair actually presents the same and the same and the same patterns over and over and over again. You just have to spot what kind of patterns does it present, right? So with that being said, for AUDJPY, I'll be looking for selling opportunities. But I have two probabilities. This could be a flat flag, whereby when the market opens, you could be creating a what? An impulse to the downside. And then the second probability that I have is you could retest this and push to the downside, whereby we'll be creating a what? We'll be creating a larger correction. But with that being said, for AUDJPY, I'll be looking for selling opportunities because currently right now I'm seeing a flat flag. And it is still valid, right? So we are going to trade what we see, not what we think. So with that being said, make sure that you do join our free Telegram group because we do share setups and we do share our trading ideas. So with that being said, let's move down to the next pair. So guys, if you're enjoying this video, make sure that you like, drop a comment down below and tell us what pair can we analyze next. make sure that you do subscribe, because it actually helps our channel to reach a lot of people and also grow. Turn on the notification bell, so every time we drop valuable content, you'll be the first one to watch and take action. So the second pair that we have for this video is EURAUD. This is one of my favorite pairs also. So like I said, we start from a daily time frame and we move them to a smaller time frame. The reason why we start from a daily time frame is because we want to know the overall direction and also identify the trend on a higher time frame before we can execute trades on a smaller time frame. So you're gonna start from the daily and going down to a smaller time frame. So firstly, let's identify our low, our high, and what kind of pattern do we spot. So we have a low and we have our highest high, right? So because we have a low and a high, currently right now I can say that EURAUD is trading between our major resistance and our major support. So also I'm going to identify levels where the market recently rejected. I'm focusing on the current trend, I'm focusing on the current market, right? Because what happened previously is not going to help us, but it can guide us. I can also see that the market rejected here. I can also use my rectangle. I can also see that we rejected here. So one thing that I noticed is that on our support we had a type of a reversal pattern. So this was my type of reversal pattern. So with that being said, let's go down to the 4-hour and let's see what's being presented at the 4-hour time. So on the 4-hour, I can see that we had a reversal, right? So this reversal already happened, right? Already happened. So we're going to delete it because it has already happened. Like I said, I'm going to focus on the current market, right? So on the current market right now, I can see that EURAUD is actually bullish, right? So how do I know that? Because we had a low, a high, a low, high, low, high, low. So one thing that I'm anticipating is that we are creating a new high, because the market will always break highs and break lows. If the market does not break highs and lows, then it means that we are in a consolidation phase. But currently right now, we are not in a consolidation phase. We are in a what? In an uptrend. So another thing that I noticed, hear me out. If you're following, listen attentively. Another thing that I noticed is that we had an impulse, right? Market gave us a what? Market gave us a correction. What were we anticipating next? An impulse to the upside, right? So currently right now, what's happening? I'm seeing that we are having a type of a correction. So now the market is creating an impulse to the upside. So we are going to follow the trend. We are going to trade what we see, not what we think, right? Because we don't control the market. You should be trading what you see, not what you think could happen. So that being said, let's identify our previous low. So currently this is our previous low and this is our take profit level, right? This is where we are going to take our profits. But if it breaks and create a new high, then you can hold, right? Because the market will always break highs if you're in an uptrend. So you could also use your rectangle if you want to. I'm also gonna do the same for my resistance. So after identifying my support and my resistance on the 4 hour, listen guys, after identifying my support and resistance on the 4 hour, now I can say that I'm going to switch the time frame to 1 hour, because we want to see what's being presented, right? So on the 1 hour, one thing that I'm seeing on the 1 hour is that this was our previous impulse, right? This was our previous impulse. So I can predict that the market is giving us the next impulse to the upside, right? Whereby this was the impulse, this was acting as a correction. So because we have a correction, we should be continuing the previous impulse. So the previous impulse was bullish, right? And we have a correction. Our anticipation is that the next impulse should be a continuation to the upside, right? So after breaking this high, there could be a possibility of retesting, but that's only if we break this high. If we don't, then you should expect a rejection.
Playing from St. Petersburg, yeah.
Sorry about that, guys. So let's identify our correction. So I can see that the market was actually correcting to the downwards. So I'm going to close my resistance channel and do the same for my support channel, right? So after identifying my correction, I'm going to identify levels in this correction where the market recently rejected, right? So after identifying my levels, I'm going to switch my time frame to 15 minutes. So currently right now we know that what we are looking for buys, but where do we end time, right? What kind of confirmation are we looking for? So let's quickly switch to 15 minutes and let's see what's being presented for 15 minutes. So on the 15 minutes, I'm going to adjust. Okay, so on the 15 minutes, we can see that what we had a double bottom here. We had a double bottom, right? These lows were equal, even though they were not on the same level, they were equal. So a double bottom is a subpattern. So that's why we had an aggressive push to the upside. So those were the reasons why you were looking for buys. Not only we had a correction, but we also had a double bottom. So on the 15 minutes, I can see that the market has been creating corrections, right? So even impulse, small correction, impulse, small correction, impulse, right? So this could be a small correction as a continuation to the upside, right? Because we have been bullish. So my anticipation would be, you could wait for a larger correction, or you could take this as as a flat flag. You could take this as a flat flag. Right, you could take this as a flat flag. So this is the first probability. This is the first probability. You take this as a flat flag. So once this flat flag breaks, you could take the immediate breakout, right? And measure your stop loss. If you're risking 1%, it's great. And this is going to be your first take profit level. and your resistance is going to be your what? Your second take profit level, right? So along the way, you could just lock and secure your profits. So for your AUD, I'll be looking for more buying opportunities, right? Because why? I'm following the trend. I don't want to go against the trend, I'm following the trend. So this is my first anticipation, whereby we have a flat flag. Once it breaks, I'm going to take an entry on the immediate breaker and risk what I can afford to lose. So the second probability will be, as you could see, that I want to do here. So because we had a type of what? Because we had a type of an ascending channel, this could be a larger correction, right? This could be a larger correction, whereby this was a what? A resistance. If you guys see it, that's why I always like to identify levels that the market have recently rejected. So if we break it, this is gonna be a flat flag, right? So you could take an entry on the new breakout, like I said. But if we don't break it, then you should know that we are forming a larger correction. And why do I say that? Because this was an aggressive impulse, right? This was an aggressive impulse. So because this was an aggressive impulse, we should be seeing a continuation if the market is going up. But if we see a reversal, then we should know that we are looking for selling opportunities, right? So like I said, we're going to trade what we see, what we think we see. So with that being said, guys, your AUD, I'll be looking for more buying opportunities, but I'm gonna wait for the market to mature, right? Because when the market is maturing now, we can take calculated decisions, right? Because we trade in money, right? And the more pips we get, the more bag we can make. So before moving down to the last pair of the video, if you're enjoying this video, guys, make sure that you like, comment down below what pair we could analyze next. Maybe you have a pair that you want to help with, and hit the subscribe button, because it actually helps our channel to grow and reach a lot of people. So with that being said, turn on the notification bell, because we always drop valuable content, and you can also be the first one to watch and take actions. So with that being said, let's move down to the last pair. So the last pair that we have is GBPJPY. So far we have 2 yen pairs and 1 AUD pair. So on this pair, which is GBPJPY, I'll be starting from a daily time frame going down to a smaller time frame. Like I said, the reason why we start from a higher time frame is because we want to know the overall direction, so we can make what? Calculated decisions. So firstly, I'm going to identify my high and my low. What kind of pattern is being presented? Then we can move deeper into time frames. So I'm going to focus on the current market, because we want to know what's happening currently right now. But we are going to use our previous to guide us, right? So I'm going to identify my high and my low. So this is my high, right? And this is my low. But you could say this is your low. You could say this is your, there's nothing wrong about it, right? You could say this is your low, there's nothing wrong about it. Like I said, I'm going to focus on the current market. So this low, we actually broke it, right? We actually broke it, and this was our resistance. So notice one thing, we broke this resistance, but hear me out, guys, but we haven't retested, right? So it still makes it a valid reason that they should be selling opportunities. But like I said, we are not trading what we think, we are trading what we are seeing, right? Because we don't control the market. Even though we haven't retested it, we need to trade what we see. So what are we seeing currently right now? Even though we did not retest it, we still have a double bottom, which is a valid reason to buy. We have a double bottom. The market sometimes is not going to do what you anticipated. Hence, I'm saying we should be trading what we see, not what we think could happen. So on my support, I have 2 lows. On my resistance, I only have 1 high. So it means that the market could be pushing to the upside to come and retest this high, right? To make it a valid resistance or a double top. So with that being said, let's see why GBPJPY had selling opportunities and why we are also buying. So let's switch the time frame and let's go down to the 4-hour time frame. So this is the last part of the video, guys. If you are enjoying this video, make sure that you like, comment down below, and hit the subscribe button. So on the 4-hour time frame, let's see why we had selling opportunities, right? So we can agree that here we have an ascending channel, right? We can agree that we had an ascending channel. So I'm going to do the same in close, right? To indicate what for both touches. So we had a type of a rising wedge, right? So this rising wedge was a reversal. This rising wedge was a reversal. And we completed the 90% of this reversal pattern. So hence we had a double bottom. So if we broke to the downside, then it could be a different story. But currently right now we had a double bottom, right? So a double bottom is it's also a reversal pattern, right? So it makes it valid for buying opportunities. And another thing that we notice is that we have pushed to the downside. Market gave us a correction, and you know what comes after the correction, right? Comes an impulse, right? So the market has been repeating this process all the way to the downside. So it's how you interpret and how you see the market, right? But how you analyze and interpret the market could be different from yours because we don't treat the same. So let's see what's being presented currently right now. So right now I can see that we had a double bottom, right? This being my first bottom, and this being my second bottom. Even though we have many touches, I still take it as a double bottom because we failed. Remember that we failed to break the support level. So it makes it a strong, significant level. So with the naked eye, I can see that we have a pattern. What kind of pattern? This is our left shoulder. This is our head, and this could be a potential left shoulder, right? So the pattern that I'm seeing is an inverse head and shoulder. So in inverse head and shoulder, it's also a reversal pattern. So we can see that we have a pattern within a pattern. So let's delete the previous analysis because it has already passed. Beautiful. So with that being said, let's go down to the 1 hour time frame. But before we go down to the 1 hour time frame, let's identify our take profit levels or where the market recently ejected. So we could see that we also have a level here. We also have a level here. We also have a level here. and we also have a level there. We could also identify the last one, right, which is this one. So after identifying our levels, this could be what our rejecting points, or it could be our take profit points. So let's switch the time frame now. Let's go down to the 1 hour. So notice something. When we switch time frames, the chart expands, which means it gives us opportunities to interpret the market. So we could also identify what we had a type of a descending channel here. We had a type of a descending channel, right? So this could be a reason why you also bought, right? So now let's focus on the current market. I'm going to delete this descending channel because we have identified it. Now we know why, right? So let's focus on the current trend. Notice that the market will always repeat itself, but if you don't know, then you need to study your charts and spend time with your charts, right? But we make it easy for you because we teach people what is currently needed and what you should not focus on, right? So one thing that I know is that here was a previous correction, which was our left shoulder. And currently right now, we could be creating a right shoulder, whereby we have first, second touch. And I'm gonna do the same for my resistance. I have a first and a second touch. So my touches are actually equal, right? So this is actually looking like a symmetrical triangle, but it will be valid once we have a third touch, right? Could be the support, the resistance, because we need a strong, significant level. So with that being said, let's go down to the 15 minutes and let's see what's happening on the right shoulder, a potential right shoulder. This was my 1, 2, 3, right? So that is why we also had potential bias, right? And then on my resistance, I actually have 2 touches. Let me cater for these touches. Okay, beautiful. So one thing that I'm seeing is that we are actually trading between these two levels, right? We're actually trading between these two levels. So my anticipation will be this is just a correction to continue going to the upside of the trend. But you need to be aware of what is happening inside. You need to be aware of what's happening inside. So we could see that so far we have 2 touches on our trend line, and we also have a support, right? And another thing, we can see that we have 2 touches on the resistance trend line, and we also have a resistance, right? So currently right now, I can see that we have a type of a correction inside, right? And I can do the same for my support. So my anticipation will be a push to the downside, creating a third touch, right? Creating a third touch. This is just the probability, guys. Not saying that it's gonna happen, but this is just a probability. But what we are seeing right now is that GBPJPY actually has been trading between these two levels. So because we have an idea that this could be an inverse head and shoulder, then we should be aware that this is a right shoulder. So because this is a right shoulder, then we should be seeing a continuation through the ups, right? So we could wait for this correction to mature, and once it matures, then we can start taking buying opportunities to the downside because we are going with the trend. So guys, if you could see on the 1 hour time frame, if you guys could see on the 1 hour time frame, this was an impulse, right? This was an impulse. So the market currently right now might be giving us a larger correction as a continuation to the upside, right? And one thing that I know, according to my own knowledge, is that the larger the pattern, the more aggressive the impulse is gonna be, right? The larger the pattern, the more aggressive the impulse is gonna be. So another thing, that correction, we gotta be aware of how is it formed, right? Is it a continuation or is it a reversal correction? So you could predict the next impulse. So the next impulse could be through the opposite direction, which is a reversal, or it could be a continuation of the trend. So with that being said, guys, if you like this video, make sure that you subscribe. If you didn't like this video, comment down below and tell us what you didn't like so we can improve, right? Make sure that you turn on the notification bell because we always drop valuable content. So with that being said, it's one of your mentors from Capital Link Operations. See you in the next video. And another thing, guys, today I'm joined by members. So see you in the next video.